Among the colorful figures of Oscar Wilde's 1895 comedy The Importance of Being Earnest, Algernon Moncrieff stands out as the play's wittiest and most flamboyant character. A bachelor living in London, Algernon is Jack Worthing's friend, Gwendolen Fairfax's cousin, and eventually Cecily Cardew's suitor. While Jack provides the central thread of the plot, Algernon injects the play with its most significant measure of charm, irony, and satire. His philosophy of life, encapsulated in his concept of bun-burying, celebrates deception as a form of liberation. Algernon's role extends beyond comic mischief. He represents Wilde's aesthetic ideals, critiques Victorian hypocrisy, and embodies the paradoxes of identity and morality. Role in the narrative. At the level of plot, Algernon plays the part of Jack's foil. While Jack is anxious about propriety, Algernon delights in flouting convention. Early in the play, Algernon exposes Jack's deception by revealing that Jack is known as Ernest in the city but Jack in the country. Algernon himself introduces the notion of bun-burying, inventing a sick friend, Mr. Bunbury, whom he uses as an excuse to avoid social obligations. This revelation establishes the play's central theme of double lives. Algernon's role expands when he visits Jack's country estate. Posing as Ernest, Algernon charms Cecily, Jack's ward, who has already invented a romantic fantasy around the name Ernest. Their courtship parallels Jack's pursuit of Gwendolen, and together the two couples provide the romantic framework of the play. Algernon's boldness in assuming Jack's fictional brotherhood creates much of the farcical tension. By the end of the play, Algernon's role is resolved through Jack's discovery of his true identity. Jack turns out to be Algernon's older brother, making their bond both literal and figurative. Algernon, once a carefree bachelor, emerges engaged to Cecily, though his personality suggests that his rebellious streak will endure. Symbolic significance. Algernon epitomizes Wilde's aesthetic ideal, life as art. His witty aphorisms such as, "The truth is rarely pure and never simple," reduce serious issues to playful paradoxes. Algernon sees life as a performance, where wit and charm matter more than moral earnestness. He symbolizes Wilde's rejection of utilitarian morality and his embrace of beauty, pleasure, and artifice as higher values. Algernon's invention of Bunbury symbolizes the human need to escape from rigid social norms. Bun-burying provides Algernon with freedom to avoid tedious obligations and pursue pleasure without guilt. On a symbolic level, bun-burying represents the Victorian double life, the disjunction between outward respectability and private indulgence. Wilde, who himself lived with secrets, channels this duality through Algernon, transforming personal truth into comic art. Algernon embodies a critique of Victorian society's obsession with seriousness, duty, and propriety. His laziness, appetite, and irreverence mock the work ethic and social conventions of his class. While Lady Bracknell defends tradition and order, Algernon destabilizes them with humor and charm. He symbolizes Wilde's belief that laughter and frivolity can expose hypocrisy more effectively than solemn moralizing. Broader implications. Algernon's romance with Cecily satirizes Victorian attitudes toward marriage. Cecily, who has already constructed a fantasy engagement with Ernest before meeting him, illustrates how romantic ideals are often built on imagination rather than reality. Algernon plays along, embracing the absurdity of being loved for a name rather than a character. Together, they parody the transactional and superficial aspects of Victorian courtship. Through Algernon, Wilde inverts conventional morality. Algernon treats deception as a virtue, frivolity as a form of wisdom, and idleness as a fine art. His unapologetic enjoyment of food, luxury, and leisure subverts Victorian notions of discipline and restraint. Yet Algernon's immorality carries a refreshing honesty. Unlike Jack, who pretends to be serious, Algernon openly admits his unseriousness. Wilde suggests that such frankness may be more authentic than false earnestness. Algernon demonstrates the power of wit to resist authority. Whether sparring with Lady Bracknell or teasing Jack, Algernon's verbal dexterity undermines solemnity. In a society obsessed with rules, Algernon uses language to destabilize seriousness. His character demonstrates how humor can serve as a form of resistance against rigid hierarchies and expectations. Like Jack, Algernon participates in the play's exploration of identity. By posing as earnest, Algernon demonstrates that identity can be adopted and discarded like a costume. His success in convincing Cecily to love him suggests that social identity depends more on appearances and names than on inner truth. Wilde anticipates modern notions of performative identity, indicating that the self is not fixed but fluid and theatrical. Algernon provides much of the play's humor. His endless appetite, eating cucumber sandwiches meant for Lady Bracknell, devouring muffins during a quarrel, turns simple actions into comic scenes. His witty one-liners such as, "I never travel without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read on the train," showcase Wilde's mastery of epigrammatic humor. Algernon's charm lies in his refusal to take anything seriously, even in moments of conflict. By embodying the spirit of comedy, Algernon ensures that the play never veers into sentimentality or moral preaching. Conclusion. Algernon Moncrieff is more than a secondary figure in The Importance of Being Earnest. He is the play's most vibrant embodiment of wit, rebellion, and aesthetic philosophy. His role in the narrative, foil to Jack, suitor to Cecily, and agent of comic mischief, anchors much of the farce. Symbolically, Algernon represents Wilde's critique of Victorian seriousness, his celebration of artifice, and his belief in the liberating power of humor. Where Jack struggles with the burden of earnestness, Algernon embraces the joy of triviality. Where Jack conceals deception, Algernon flaunts it. And where society demands solemn duty, Algernon responds with laughter and paradox. Ultimately, Algernon's character challenges audiences to re-evaluate the value of frivolity, the fluidity of identity, and the absurdity of social conventions. He is Wilde's mouthpiece for the radical idea that life should not be lived with excessive seriousness, but with wit, charm, and an appreciation for the art of being delightfully insincere.